Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tales podcast. John, before I normally introduce you, I thought I'd make it a bit Christmassy. Obviously, I'm going to slowly bleed in more Christmas throughout the week, but I've just got the Christmas Terry's orange up there for now. So we're slowly going to bring some more Christmas things into it. But it's just a packet.
Oh, I'm John. Am I? I thought I was Elijah.
You thought you were Elijah?
I did.
But no, Elijah...
I'm sure. Listening to last week's podcast, I was supposed to be Elijah.
Yes, and that's why this week's podcast was late. Unfortunately, Elijah has lost his voice, so we were waiting days to try and get it to work, and unfortunately, it didn't come back in time. So
I'd better get rid of this awful background, then, hadn't I?
Yeah, there we go. I knew it was going to be that. Obviously, in this podcast, we're going to talk about the Once Upon a Time, Chapter 3 of Flux, which I have watched 1.5 times. I have to admit, I've had to skim through it the second viewing time, as I was very much against the clock. But yeah. So, but as well,
I've watched it twice. Obviously, I've not watched it from Sunday since Sunday, so I watched it twice on Sunday. And obviously, while I was watching it, I didn't know that I'd be doing this. So we'll kind of go with what I can remember.
We'll remember the important bits.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be okay.
When we work through it, we'll go, oh yeah, then that and that. Yeah, okay. Work it out. But John, as is per with this show at the moment, I have to ask you. I mean, I know particularly anyway, but for the viewers, what were your thoughts on chapters 1 and 2 before we talk about 3 and go into all that?
I mean, I loved them. I absolutely loved them. I came out of chapter 1 thinking this is by some way the best thing the Chibnall era has done. That lasted for about a week until I saw chapter 2. Yeah, really good standalone stories. There seems to be a bit of a different vibe about this series than we've had over the last couple. There seems to be a bit more at stake. It seems to be a bit more serious, but it also just seems to be a bit more fun, maybe enjoyable. I think that, I mean, it's just, I don't know this for a fact, but I think that somebody's up to the script editing somewhere. They've brought in somebody to do some script editing on it, and it's done a world of good.
Yeah, as you guys know, listening, I don't know how much of the stuff you've watched. I know we spoke, but the episode 2, I was against the grain. I mean, being responsible, both in terms of when we first watched it, coming back drunk from the BFI. I think our brains are a bit fried, so we watched it like still because we watched it a bit earlier than you lot. Because obviously you had to travel back home and stuff. We were like 5 minutes away, so we were still incredibly drunk. Just watching it, we were like, what's going on? So we woke up in the morning to you guys in the chat going, that was one of the best episodes in years. I mean, Reese was sat there going, did we miss something? Like, and then obviously when we watched it and loved it, when I could actually think and watch it correctly.
Yeah, I made 2 attempts to watch it on the Sunday night, and both times I fell asleep 20 minutes in. I got home, watched Match of the Day 2, then tried to watch Doctor Who, and yeah, both times I lasted about 20 minutes, so I watched it again on a Monday morning.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens with the BFI, and we were too busy with the Chumleys to be chilling with Carvanista.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens for the finale, because obviously quite a few of us are there again on the day of the finale.
I think it's just me and Reese Marshall that aren't going.
Is Reese not going?
I don't know. I think there might be some hotel issues. I think there might be some hotel issues, but I don't know.
Yeah, I thought somebody had sorted Reese for a ticket.
I think there might be some hotel issues. Sorry to put this on the podcast, by the way. This is incredibly irrelevant for you.
Right, yeah, discussing Reese Marshall's domestic arrangements over a podcast. It's probably not the best thing to do. You know, he's a popular guy. He does have some Uber fans. We certainly don't want him getting stalked. So yeah, we should probably stop talking about places that he's going to be and places that he's going to be staying.
Yes.
And stuff.
Sorry if that's not the case, Reese, and I've been trying to just put you on blast on the podcast, but I think we had a conversation about hotels earlier.
Yeah. But we'll protect your we'll protect you. You know, we'll put you back under cloaking mode so that
We'll,
nobody knows
we'll,
where you are. And
we'll find your Lupari and they'll protect you.
when.
But yes, John, let's go through your favorite part of the show because we saw this before already. We're so excited to quickly chat about this. Viewing figures. Okay,
I
so
must admit,
once
I've listened to both of the previous Flux episodes. As I've previously admitted on air, I don't normally listen unless I'm on the show. I have listened to the previous Flux episodes, and at both points that you started talking about viewing figures, I've gone. "Oh." But yeah, let's go.
let's go. We'll make it quick. Because I agree with you, it means nothing, but people enjoy it. Once Upon a Time was watched by 3.76 million, according to one official overnight viewing figures. That is a slight drop on last week. Oh. The 7-day consolidated was 5.10, and that made Doctor Who the 13th most watched program of the week. And there you go. And do you know what, guys? I will say this: if you care about viewing figures, focus on the last thing I said there. If you genuinely care about Doctor Who standing within television, don't worry about the number of millions. Worry about that 13th number in television for the week. That's what you should be watching and looking at if you genuinely care. It doesn't make a lick of difference anyway. The internet will tell you otherwise. It doesn't. But the 13th, you think about all the television guys, Doctor Who being the 13th most watched program of the week, and people say Doctor Who is dead.
Yeah, and I think also when you look at, I mean, I promised myself I wasn't going to get into this, but one thing I would say is when you look at certainly the figures or the lists of sort of share for previous weeks, it's literally been like strictly results and Bake Off at the top three, and everything else sitting around the same number, sitting around the say it's tens of thousands that are splitting fourth place to 15th place. You know, it's really small fry. As you know, my view on viewing figures is that in a modern 21st century, with streaming services, catch-up services, etc., the fact that people don't all sit around a television, viewing figures are stuff and nonsense. They are an irrelevance. They are something that people simply use to have a little bit of an argument. And both sides will listen to the figures for this episode and they'll pick out the bits that they think are important and use them for their own argument. So people that love the current era will go, oh yeah, it's 30th most popular show of the week, you know, second or third most popular show on the day, you know, great stuff for Doctor Who, brilliant, everything's fine. And the people that don't like the current era of the show will go, oh look, it's dropped and it's under 4 million and it's and frankly, in my view, and no offense to anybody that loves figures, because obviously, you know, some people do enjoy talking about viewing figures. That's why we're doing it. But frankly, they'll just need to grow up a little bit and maybe be a little bit more, maybe be a little bit more
Aware.
intelligent in their criticism of the show. You
Yeah.
know, because you can tell if something is good or not by talking about the quality of production, by talking about the quality of writing, by talking about the quality of acting, by talking about how successful it is.
Yeah.
The only time that viewing figures are relevant is if a TV program is at risk. We already know that RTD is coming in. We already know we're getting Series 14. We already know that Sony and sort of Bad Wolf, etc., are coming in to do their thing. Everything is fine and safe. So however many bums sit down in front of the telly at 6:30 on a Sunday evening this week, last week, or for the next 3 weeks, doesn't really matter.
Nope. No, not at all. Also, as well, I always love the
But
argument
yeah,
that
those
people
are
make.
interesting figures.
Yeah, when people make the argument of Doctor Who should be cancelled, it's going to be cancelled. It's dropping in the figures. You look at it and you go, well, if Doctor Who's 13th, everything underneath it, just get rid. You know, like that's not how television works. It's not how television.
There are so many factors that come into play with how many people watch a television show. The most watched episode of Doctor Who ever was one of the episodes of City of Death. The reason that it was the most watched episode of Doctor Who ever is because there were only 3 channels at the time. ITV had gone on fucking strike, so it was BBC One and BBC Two. They had a choice between City of Death and probably some bloody documentary about pottery.
Yep, and now this week, fans on Twitter are going to be choosing between Doctor Who and City of Death, and our group minus
Well,
me.
ironically, for the finale, many of us are choosing between the series finale, and City of Death.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, it's the 21st century. Guess what? We can watch it when we get home. So yeah, I'm not going to be one of the 3 or 4 million that sit down to watch Chapter 6. I won't count in the figures, but I don't care because I might watch it 2 or 3 times on catch up.
I'm genuinely considering doing like a live stream reaction to it and just seeing what goes on. Who knows? I might do it. I might not.
You might. I mean, there's no point. All your viewers will be at the VFI.
Oh, good point. Shit. What's the point? I'll just have to tune into Phil Hawkins' vlog and just be like, "Hi" in the comments, because he do a live stream at the end of every.
He does. He goes around the bar with his little camera and does a live stream.
Yeah. So I'll have to.
For Evil, I kept trying to do flipping the bird in the background, but I was actually nice for Galaxy 4, and I did my little bit.
Lovely. Okie dokie. Are you ready to talk about Once Upon a Time? Obviously,
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
It's written by Chris Chibnall, of course. This time, though, directed by a different director. I'm sorry if I butcher their name. Azhur Salem, I'm going to go with. Sorry if the name is wrong.
Salem or Salim, I think, one of the two.
And of course, it was last Sunday, so I'm not going to give the date like I normally would do, because it came out 3 days ago. But yeah, obviously stars your regulars: Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, John Bishop, and of course our boy Craig Ellis, Carvanista. And John, I'm going to be honest, mate, this episode didn't like it. Not enough Carvanista at the end. 2 out of 10 for the 2 minutes he was on screen. No, but seriously, John, what did you make of Chapter 3, Once Upon a Time?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this episode established that Carvanista is actually the first ever canonical companion. So I'm all over it. If we are going with the theory that the Roof Doctor is a pre-Hartnell Doctor, then yeah, Carvanista is actually the first ever canonical companion. I thank you. What did I think of it? I tell you what, I absolutely loved it, mate. It was different to the previous couple of weeks. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it might be my favorite episode of Flux so far. Probably because it was quite Moffat-like. It kind of got into the lore and it was a little bit timey and all over the place. But where I think it worked is actually, one of my issues with the current era is the amount of exposition that we tend to get in the script. That has actually dumbed down a bit for this series. But there's still a little bit of an issue there with excessive exposition. But for this episode, it actually really helped. It really helped to keep up with things. I saw some people saying that they were kind of confused by it. I was like, okay, I'm not. And it's quite clear that she's just kind of jumping from timeline to timeline.
Yeah.
And, I'm not like a genius or the most intelligent person in the world. I'm just somebody that was sitting there and focusing and concentrating on the show. And yeah, I didn't find it difficult to follow. I saw some people say that kids would find it difficult to follow. Again, sorry, but no, when I was like 12, Ghostlight was on. I understood it as much then as I do now, but it didn't mean that I didn't love it, because there's still monsters, there's still guns going off. There's still aliens. You know, there's still stuff to love. Doctor Who's always appealed on those different levels for children and for adults. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think probably because it was a bit more fitty, it gave us a couple of things that I've really enjoyed previously in this series and brought them back. It introduced a new character that I really just kind of fell in love with, which I'm sure we'll come on to. And yeah, it was, I mean, it was a triumph for me. But it was one of those ones where, you know, the minute you finish watching it, if you go on Twitter, it's going to be 50% saying best episode ever, 50% saying worst episode ever, and absolutely nobody in the middle.
Yeah, on to your point that you made actually there, John. This was like the first episode, because I actually know some friends that have jumped on to Flux from Flux, and a good mate of mine, Chris, who actually does listen to this podcast for a bit of and he and stuff like that. And I said to him, because he didn't, I don't think he watched this one live. I said, you're going to be confused by this one, but because he hadn't watched anything beforehand, so we didn't know anything about the division, nothing. This was like his first forte. He watched it and he said he loved it still, but he had no idea what was going on. Like he understood what was going on within the episode. But this was the funniest phone call was when my nan rang me and she was like, I don't know what I watched. And I was just like, yeah, nan, just go with it. And then she was like, I don't want to watch next week because I don't like those bloody angel things. And I went, good luck.
Yeah, but the number of points, right? Here's the thing. The number of points in Doctor Who history, not just New Who, not just Chibnall or anything, the number of points in Doctor Who history where somebody can jump on and be completely clean and not need to know anything are minuscule. It's few and far between. You've got Unearthly Child, Spearhead from Space, probably.
Yeah.
But even then, he's like, you'd need to know a little bit about the fact he's been the Doctor before.
Mm-hmm.
Rose, which does a very good job of explaining things, possibly the 11th hour.
Yeah.
But again, you're kind of like, why is that guy falling from space?
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know, so there are very few points at which somebody can jump on cleanly. So this whole thing of the casual viewer, I mean, I don't work in the television industry, so I can say this. I'm not a casual viewer. You're not a casual viewer. None of your listeners really are going to be casual viewers as such. Fuck the casual viewer.
Yeah, no, I'm sort of, I'm with you on that to a point, because obviously, as someone who I don't obviously work in the TV industry, but obviously that's where I want to go. Obviously, casual viewers are in some ways important because you have to start off as a casual.
I think there was enough in episode 3 that carried on from episode 1 and 2 that anybody that jumps on at the start of Flux is still going to be there next week.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like as I said, my nan will still watch next week. She'll just crap her pants and not enjoy the Angels. But I mean, the only bit that she was, I'll tell you this, this is the only bit of Flux that I'm not enjoying. It's not because I don't know, it's because I just find it really clunky. It's like they're trying to keep me. The Williamson stuff, I think, is being handled horribly. And only because I feel like he's going to be relevant towards the end. But Chibnall doesn't want us to forget that. So he just keeps popping up every week in one scene and buggers off.
I think there's probably going to be a reason for that. There's going to be a reason why he's continually turning up in those tunnels. There's going to be a reason why he's continually popping up. I know we chatted about this the other night. I'm pretty sure that your episode 5 cliffhanger is going to be a reveal of those tunnels and what's going on.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't know if it's clunky or not, because I mean, certainly for this week and for last week, to be honest, he kind of pops up, but it wasn't like a random scene out of nowhere. He just kind of pops up with something else. So, like, say, last week,
Was it the
when
Temple of
Yaz turned up at the
Atropos?
temple. Well, last week when Yaz turned up at the temple, she had a reason for being there. She was walking along. She randomly bumped into him. So he wasn't kind of. He was put into a scene that already existed, if you like.
Yeah, yeah.
I think for me the clunkiest part of it was the first week where it was like, what the hell's going on with these 1820s Liverpool scenes that have nothing to do with anything else?
Yeah. Like I said, Joe, I agree with you to an extent. I understand what Chibnall's doing because there's a lot to balance, and he wants to make sure that everybody's in their place in time for when. And I guarantee, I do have faith in Chibnall with this long form storytelling. Like I said, from day one, even before I said I do trust him for this, because I loved the first 2 seasons of Project. But I just think that this element of it, every week, he turns up and he leaves, and I go, okay. I'm sort of just like, I know he's going to mean something, but why the hell is he in Dan's mindscape? Why is he, how is that working?
I have more faith in Chibnall tying all of these elements together than I would Moffat.
Yeah. No, yeah, me
You know,
too.
and
And
I
we
love
love
Moffat.
Moffat. We love Moffat.
Yeah, I love Moffat, but I have more faith in Chibnall tying all of these elements together than I would have Moffat.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that wound me up a little bit about Twitter over the last few days is that we've had these fucking idiots going, oh, everybody's hating on this episode, and if it was written by Stephen Moffat, they'd all be loving it. And I was like, were you on the internet when Stephen Moffat was showrunner?
Yep.
Did you read half of the shit that got written about Stephen Moffat? Some of which was justifiable.
Yep.
The guy faced a similar level of criticism to what Chibnall gets. So, all of this crap about, oh, if it was a Moffat episode, people would be loving it. It's rubbish. And you can just as easily turn around to those people and say, well, if Moffat's name was on the title for this, you'd be hating it.
John, before we go into the 4 different quadrants, that's obviously how we're going to have to tackle this is the 4 different storylines that we get, in particular 5 if you want. I just want to give a quick shout out because they're not in this episode very much, but I want to give a quick shout out to Swarm and Azure, Samuel Sproul, and Rashonda Sandal, who are phenomenal together. And the more I see them, I love them. I love them in this.
It is already we have like a standout classic villain. 3 episodes in, this is a memorable villain.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to find out what their past is and how they connect with the Doctor. But yeah, I really, really enjoy them.
That line still when Jodie Whittaker goes, "What do you want?" And he goes, "To reign in hell." It's brilliant. And also people saying the design looks really clunky. It's Doctor Who. That I think they know that when they're making it, that they look like really steampunk and a bit weird. I love it. I'm for it. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's kind of 5 different storylines going on here because we got the 4 different companion and the Doctor Ted, in the mind timescape. But we've also got the story of Belle. I don't know how you want to tackle this, John, because it's sort of 5 different strands in the story. And what order would you like to go in, mate? Because
shall we start with Belle? Because we kind of see Belle first, don't we?
Yeah, let's start with Belle.
We see Belle first with the Daleks. So should we start with Belle?
Oh yeah, a wonderful new character. Again, another difficult name, played by Threadara Graham. Again, apologies if my
I think it's Thadia Graham.
Thadia Graham. A wonderful character from the off. She's sort of our point of view as to how the flux has affected the world at large, because we've been following the Doctor and co, who's been going to the Temple of Atropos in the past, but no, we're seeing how this affects the universe at large, and it seems there are these quadrants of villains. So you've got the Dalek quadrant, I think Cyberman quadrant, and Sontaran quadrant is what you heard. And essentially, she faces some dodgy CGI Daleks. That was one of the only bits of this week where I looked at the headpiece spun with. I was like, what? But we'll leave that. That's a nitpick.
I kind of take the view of criticizing CGI in a story is a bit like judging a book by its cover, but I'm a bit silly like that. It doesn't affect the storytelling.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just when I saw it move, I was like, what? But they're essentially Oh God, we're having internet issues. Oh God, fix yourself, please. Student Wi-Fi
Yeah,
always
that's
seems
right.
to rain on my parade. We see her essentially
Was it
travel.
Connor and his OnlyFans again?
Yeah, Connor's only always on only. He's actually watching Footballers' Wives Extra Time again, in the kitchen. Um, but yeah,
Our ability to podcast is being affected by Connor streaming Footballers' Wives Extra Time.
he's on season 2 now. Um, but it's so yeah. Essentially, she's going around the universe with what appears to be what I was thinking, John. I don't know what you were thinking. A Tamagotchi. I thought she's got like a sci-fi Tamagotchi. Do you remember Tamagotchis? You
I
know,
do, of course, I remember Tamagotchi. I was a little bit too old to have one, but yes, I do remember them, and yeah, I that's a comparison that a few people have made. I thought it just looked really cute, to be
it
honest.
was. Yeah. In a long sum of things, this turns out to essentially be monitoring her child. Um, and which at the end of the episode we find out whose child it is. But once we talk about their story arc, we can then explain. Because it's kind of a big reveal within the story. But overall, I think a really nice view of the universe at large. I think that's the issue with the Chibnall era, actually. I don't know whether you agree, John, is that there's these big catastrophes, but we never see the scope of it impacting the universe like we did in the RTD and the Moffat era. You even go back the Hinchcliffe era is really good at that. But in the Chibnall era, it's been very enclosed. But in this story, we actually see the effects of Flux properly on everyday people.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I'd agree with that. I think actually we're seeing the impact of things. I absolutely loved Belle as a character. I thought Thalia Graham was great. I would advise everybody to go and take a look at her Twitter. I think on Monday she uploaded a couple of videos, just like as a response to fans of her being in Doctor Who. She's clearly absolutely loving the fact that she's involved in the show and very much embracing it. And I hope she sticks around for a bit because I think she'll be a real asset to the show.
Yeah.
You know, I loved the fight with the Cybermen.
Yeah,
You
I thought it
know,
was good.
of course, it led to people moaning and going, "Oh well, crap, the Cybermen now they've all been taken out by somebody single-handed with one gun." I think I actually went back to one individual and said, "Hang on a minute, two guns." But
Yeah. Yeah, but also as well, this is my issue, like, where people are like, we want villains to be strong. The Cyberman was the story arc of the last series.
yeah,
What are
yeah.
you?
But it's like it's like with the thing with the Sontarans last week. People were going, "Oh shit, a Sontarans, they couldn't shoot down." It's like, "Oh what? So you want your new companion to die 5 minutes into his second episode, do you?"
Yeah,
You know,
it's ridiculous.
it's just ridiculous.
You can't. That's like watching a James Bond movie and going, why isn't James Bond affected by this bomb that goes off right next to him? And you just, what?
I'm not going to say anything.
Did I say something wrong?
I'm no, I'll explain when we're off air. I'm not going to say
Okay.
anything.
um, but yeah, I think it's all semantic. Like, it's similar to the CGI thing. It's like a little nitpick that doesn't need to be there. Story
Yeah,
convenience has been in
it's
media. It's been in media for however
yeah,
long, and you just
as long as people have been telling stories, shit like this has been going on. There's no point picking holes in it. Because actually, it's for the greater good of the story.
absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, essentially, yeah, we get a really cool Cyberman fight with her. We learn more about her personality. We get a really interesting scene with the Cybermen, which back, excuse me, to the Mrs. Moore scene, yeah, from series 2, where essentially she chatted to a Cyberman, but this time it's Belle. It's Belle? Am I getting the name right? Yeah,
Yeah,
Belle chatting to the Cyberman, and we get a really cool thing of essentially her berate the Cybermen going, there's nothing to fight for now. Because essentially it's built up the Cybermen, Daleks, and Sontarans are fighting each other for quadrants of the universe so that they can rule. And she's essentially gone, there's nothing to rule over, or there will be nothing after the Flux has done everything it's doing. And they're going, they're still so done on that. They're still like so caught on their mission. That's the only thing they'll do. And I love the line where the Cyber goes, love is not a mission, and she essentially, that is brilliant, because obviously her mission is love, and we find out who it's for. and I really like this reveal. But I've seen your Twitter, John, and I'm scared with you of where this reveal could be going, of what this could lead to. But we'll get to that later. Right, next up we'll talk about Dan because he gets wrapped up first. Essentially, we just get more of him and Diane in the timescape, and I love this couple. I love the awkward flirting with the coffee stuff. I love the awkward date that she went on and it didn't go well. And it's clear that these two are meant to be together and that they care for each other. And it's so
Give, give me more Dan and Diane. Just like right, I love Dan and Diane as an idea. I love them as a concept. I love them as a couple. I think it's wonderful storytelling. I know a number of people that really thoroughly agree with that. I've seen subsets of people, and sorry, I'm going to get on my political horse a little bit here. I've seen, but that's why you have me on the show. I've seen subsets of people saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, but in my head canon, Dan was gay," or I'm shipping Dan with Carvanista. It's like, okay, two things there. Well, three things there, maybe. Okay, firstly, that's your headcanon, you're not the showrunner.
yep.
Secondly, why are you shipping a man fucking a giant dog? Thirdly, ask yourself what your issue is with seeing an interabled relationship on television, on prime time family television. Because, I mean, you'll know because we spoke about it. Episode 1, when Diane first showed up, and it was clear where the chemistry was and where this was potentially going, I was bouncing off the walls because it's like, not only have we got a visibly disabled character played by a disabled actor in a recurring role, but they are giving them a romantic storyline. That is so rare. Whatever you might want to see, whatever your dream may be for the show going forward, or your ideal may be, chances are it's been done before a fuck sight more than this has. And this is so important to disabled people to actually see that representation there, to actually see that relationship growing and being portrayed. And I just hope there's a happy ending there for them. I don't want Chibnall to pull the rug out from under this.
Yeah.
I really want a happy ending for them. Because I'm like, the Diane wasn't in episode 2, so effectively 2 episodes into this relationship, I am so invested in it.
Me too.
And I saw a wonderful idea the other day. Somebody suggested that actually the real villain of Doctor Who Flux is the woman that jilted Dan 2 days before his wedding.
Well, yeah, what a bitch. I also have to say as well, I think this is the first time where a relationship scene in Chibnall Who just felt so organic. I've kind of struggled with the Yaz and Ryan stuff last year was really clunky and it didn't actually end up going anywhere, so it was bizarre. And then the stuff, but like this.
I mean, well, we know my views on Clara and Danny. We're not going to go there because it's before the watershed.
But yeah, this.
I mean, I gotta say, I did like the Amy and Rory stuff because that actually felt quite natural. But that's because Arthur and Karen clearly get on anyway, and they're both very sexy people.
They are. They have lots of chemistry. I'm for this. I'm for this. I love this relationship. Also in the Mindscape, I'll quickly brush over this because I don't really understand what's going on there. I don't know, John, because you've seen it twice. These blue butterflies were chasing Dan in his nightmare, but they were also chasing Belle in the real life. So I don't really know what these blue things are doing. They looked, again, if we were to nitpick CGI for 2 seconds, they looked dreadful because they didn't affect the shadow on people's faces. That is minimum of what I expect for a television show because I know how to do that. But anyway, by the by, just when it flew past Dan, it didn't actually affect his shadow at all. And if they were actually there, it should have cast a shadow. It didn't. Stress me out.
I mean, there's a catchphrase that we use in our chat. I'm not going to use it here, but I will just say the word "all right."
Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, it was a nitpick, but
it's a nitpick. It's yeah.
But yeah, obviously that's when we bump into the Williamson bloke, and he's like, bah, he's got like a sci-fi gun now, and he's like, get out of my way, Dan. And he's like, I'll see you next week for another scene.
He's becoming like the Stanley of Flux.
Yeah, he'll be back next week to have a go at Jodie.
Yeah, like the Stanley of Flux. I'm wondering if he's being paid per minute or per appearance.
I wonder. Actually, yeah, that's actually good. That's actually a game. Just find out. I'll try and get an interview on the podcast after. Yeah.
It's like if he gets if he appears in all 6 episodes, he gets a fleece or something. Oh, he gets a Doctor Who Flux jacket.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he really wants, that merch.
Yeah.
As well, we'll quickly jump to the bit to the end of the episode. So we find out that Diane is trapped within Passenger. So thankfully, though, it seems
I am a passenger.
Yeah, I have that in mind as well. Yeah, but it seems as though she's not, based on what we saw in the Doctor's escape, that she's not trapped in there forever. There is a way of releasing.
Yeah, there is a way. Yeah. So essentially, the Passenger, as the name might suggest, is like a transport vessel. So there is a way of extracting people from it.
Yeah. So thankfully, it's not the end of Diane yet.
No.
And that's sort of where Dan's
already established that he will save her.
Yeah.
He's a man on a mission.
He's a man on a mission. He's Dan with a plan.
He's like Stone Cold Steve Austin, circa 98, 99. He's a one man wrecking crew to get what he wants.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think he's going to kick some ass. Right now, also, I also have to say as well, I've seen this on Twitter as well. People have gone, Chris Chibnall used this episode to give Vinder a backstory, and that's it. And I'm like, I read those tweets and I go, that's how storytelling works. You can use episodes to give characters a back.
Yeah. I mean, these exact same people would be bitching if Vinder didn't have a backstory.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what.
Without not being able to connect with the character, so he can't win.
That's what Vinder gets in this episode. He's not really connected to the Guide Escape. In actual fact, we learn more about him. That's what his backstory is about. Why he was a soldier that was, banished to the post that he was. And we find out that essentially, Craig Parkinson, a brilliant actor.
It is Craig Parkinson, yes.
Is as the Grand Serpent, is a massive snake. Who knew?
Yeah. Craig Parkinson has confirmed via his Twitter that that's not the last that we're seeing of him.
And I'm so happy about
just in case any listeners were thinking that Doctor Who would create a massive evil bastard called the Grand Serpent and only have him in it for about 3 minutes.
And I'm also so happy just because I love Craig Parkinson. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a wonderful.
Well, yeah, actor. I mean, he's his wife's already been in, hasn't she? Because he's married to Susan Lynch, who was in Ghost Monument.
Yeah, there you go.
But he actually posted a lovely little tweeted a lovely little video the other day as well, because obviously he said obviously most of the stuff that he's in is all sort of post watershed stuff like Line of Duty and stuff like that, and quite gritty and hard hitting. So this is the first time that he's been in something that his son's been able to watch.
Yeah.
So there's actually a video of his son watching him.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's wonderful when you can get moments like that and that sort of thing. I go for happy he's back because I want to find more about this character. But yeah, essentially, there's not much to really discuss with the Vinder stuff because there's not much theories to talk about. Essentially, we just learn about Vinder as a character. He was set to this post to be essentially the second to the Grand Serpent, and then Vinder discovers that maybe there's some more shady things going on with the deals that the Grand Serpent is cutting. He wants some people killed. Vinder's like, hang about. He goes to the head office, and the head office goes, "You got no evidence, pal. You'll find out about this, and you're going to get done if you submit this." But Vinder is so wonderful as a person that he says, "No, it's my duty to submit this," and that's what ends up biting him in the bum, and that's what gets him in the position.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? A guy that chooses to call himself the Grand Serpent turns out to be a massive evil bastard dictator.
Yeah, he has got good hair though. His
Oh,
hair's.
can't comment.
I'm sorry, man.
I mean to be frank, neither can you.
Wow, bro, that's pain, man.
If I did have hair, it wouldn't look like yours. But
I mean, look, this is natural. Leave me alone. Um, I'm being bullied now. Don't compare me to the Grand Serpent. Um, bastard. Yeah, no,
I
but
mean, if we want to talk, if we want to talk cool hair,
yeah, I'll go with the big mane over there.
Carbonista's got the hair.
Yeah, absolutely. What an absolute babe. I just want to give him a cuddle. Um, but yeah, I wonder if you had a Lupari, John. Do you think it'd be as sarcastic, or do you think it'd be more of a willing Lupari?
No. I came up with I came up with a really interesting question the other day. Like, how brilliant would it be if the Lupari weren't all kind of shaggy dogs or sheepdogs? Like you had different
They,
breeds. So like
ooh,
somebody's might be a poodle, somebody's might be a Great Dane, somebody's might be a San Bernard or something.
yeah.
So I could just picture my Lupari being like a mastiff, like
Oh, nice.
this massive chunky. Raw.
You think? Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd like a husky or something.
Yeah, I think like, you're just saying that in terms of practicalities.
No, I just really like huskies.
Yeah,
I don't
it
really
would be
want to go.
useful, though, wouldn't it? Just like it would be useful if the chair breaks down. Just like, hut.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Also, I don't want a pug because I think I just laugh too much because pugs' faces are so funny, so I wouldn't be able to take it seriously. Um,
Huskies are beautiful dogs.
Huskies are lovely. Anyway, enough dog talk for this because we're on a time schedule. Um, so yeah, Vinder's backstory, like I said, it was a good way of us learning about Vinder without having to have a lot of expositional dialogue about him and just saying to the doctor, "I'm Vinder. Da, 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 da. This happened to me. Da, 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 da."
Yeah,
This actually allowed us to learn about him organically.
it was a nice way to do it. It was a really nice way to do it, and it as you've kind of touched on there, it's something that we're not necessarily used to seeing Chibnall do. So
Yeah.
it was actually a very refreshing, nice way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about Yaz's next, which was essentially just set up for next week's episode, in a
Mm.
sense, because we didn't really go to any place in particular. She had one bit in our past, but it seems that she had one bit in her future because she sat with the
Oh.
sister and she doesn't remember it, which implies that she won't be with the doctor for the rest of it, which we knew anyway. But in terms of the show, it might mean that she's not going to die, actually. She might just end up being left on Earth.
It could be quite far into the future though, because I did notice that her copy of Edge of Reality wasn't glitching. So very in joke there. Everybody that has Edge of Reality, I hope you're enjoying it. I played it for about 2 hours, found it all very dark and difficult to get on with, and I thought I'll wait until it properly patches and then I'll try to play it. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think it's downloaded patches about 7 or 8 times now. I will go back to it, but at the moment I'm replaying Skyrim.
John, you never cease to make me laugh on these shows, my friend. Um,
Good.
but yeah, essentially, she's being stalked by the angels. Throughout these bits, while I said the doctor is coming back and forth, essentially just saying, "I'm trying to save you in your time stream. I'm putting you here for safety." But then the doctor realizes that the angels are in there, and she's like, "Oh shit, it's the angels!" You can't blink at that, and the angel legit just comes to the TV, scares the shit out of me. I'm sat there going, "I never want to play video games again. God help me."
I mean, ironically, I had that feeling after playing Edge of Reality too.
Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Sorry.
that was fine. That was just really good. You actually made me cry. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, it
Bruce.
is no, it is great to actually have proper scary angels.
Yeah, the
Because
angels.
I think they kind of lost that a little bit in Angels Take Manhattan. I think they became a little bit gimmicky. So it's
See,
great to actually have some back to basics, proper scary angels.
see, this is like my unpopular opinion, but because I love Angels Take Manhattan, but only because the ponds are my companions. So I find it like it's not well done. It's a bit clunky, but I love it on an emotional level. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I get you. I get you. It's my least favorite angel story, but like there are three angel stories, and the other two are top tier.
yeah, and
You
the
know,
fourth is
it's like saying vanilla is your least favorite flavor in the Neapolitan ice cream. It's still vanilla ice cream. It's still fucking
yeah,
lovely. It's just
it's
not
yeah,
strawberry
it's
or chocolate.
still brilliant, absolutely. So yeah, essentially that's what Yaz is set up for. We'll talk about how that ends in a second. Because that's obviously our big cliffhanger going into next week. But let's talk about the Doctor's one now. The mind fuck that is the Doctor's backstory, and it is in the best way possible. So essentially, at the beginning of the episode, we get Dark Coat Jodie. I'm all about that. I love the Dark Coat, and she's with who what we think is Vinda, Yaz, and Dan. They're not. They're just stand-ins for who's actually there, and we find out one of the characters later on, and we find out who Jodie is later on. It turns out they're on the planet Time, and they're to go into what's the Temple of Atropos to stop Swarm and Azure. But it
Mm.
isn't actually Jodie Whittaker. No, it is the return of Joe Martin's Ruth. I don't like saying the Ruth Doctor. I just like saying Ruth because it's an easier way of differentiating. So I go the Doctor and the Doctor. It is the Ruth character ish in a sense. It's Joe Martin's
Ruth,
Doctor.
the roof doctor always sounds like some kind of tiling expert that you'd have to come round if your slates are falling off, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But Joe Martin's back, and she, in some reason, I'm going to go with the fact that it's the Doctor, is self-aware in this dream that she doesn't look right, and we get more brilliant back and forth between Jodie and Joe. Um, I love it. I love all of this. Give me more Joe Martin, please. We get more of it in the story as we go on, but I'm just saying this now as a plea. I know you filmed it all, Chris, but if you haven't, go back, rewrite an episode, put Joe Martin in it, and do it again. Um,
And I mean, Russell, if you're listening to this, listen to the people, give them what they want. Maybe give us a season of Joe Martin.
or in your universe of universes, give us a spin-off.
Yeah, give us a spin off, do something. Because she she's been in it 3 times now. Every time she has just immediately been the Doctor. She owns every fucking scene that she is in. She is phenomenal. She's incredible. And in the same way as I was talking about disability representation earlier, I think it would be a real shame if the first black actor to play the Doctor only really kind of does so as a bit part. I I I I want to see some kind of storytelling with Joe Martin going forward.
I'm absolutely with
Now,
you on that.
even if it is like a prequel series or something, a prequel spin off that they do, I want to see it. I mean, I'd love to see her as the 14th Doctor, but I'm not sure I can see it happening. But I want to see him do something with it.
I assume I'm fairly sure that I heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Russell said he wanted to build like a world, didn't he? A universe, like, where it means some spin-offs.
Russell is all about building universes, yeah.
So
So
that means that there will be
yeah,
spin-offs. So
if you're listening, Russell, mate, which I'm sure you are, fan of the show, um,
yeah,
please ignore
definitely.
all the swearing. Um, but if you're listening, please make that your first spin-off because it would be so important to so many people, and everybody loves Joe, and we'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, I have nothing more to say there because you've done it so well.
Yeah.
No trouble. Then essentially
Plus,
we get this. What
we'd
were you
get
gonna say? Sorry.
we'd get my boy as companion.
Yeah, we get more. We get more Craig Ellis, which is always fun. But this is what this scene, John, as a person that is a media student and loves making films and shorts and stuff. This scene was editing brilliant. We essentially next get a lovely scene where the Doctor confronts Swarm and Azure as they sit on their thrones in the Temple of Atropos with like five or six passengers, and we just go back and forth to the scene of Jodie Whittaker having a go at them, and then it cut into what really happened with Joe Martin, and it intercuts for about a good 3 to 4 minutes, and it is
Yeah,
just a sight to behold. I can't even really break down what was said. It was just brilliant to see them kind of
yeah,
intercut with each other. It was a joy to watch. Jodie and Joe are on fire here as well.
yeah. I mean, obviously, you will notice that as a film student, you'll notice that. From my perspective, I can say that was brilliantly edited because I didn't notice it. It just flowed. I sat and watched it, and the whole thing just flowed. And that's the thing about editing and stuff like that. If a layman's sitting there and he's not thinking about it and he doesn't notice it, you're doing your job.
Yep, absolutely. And also, we saw the return of the actor that played the older version of Swarm in episode 1. I've got a
Oh,
list here. His name is Matthew Needham. So we saw
mm,
the return of him. And essentially, there was a bit of emphasis with the passengers and stuff. But this essentially just leads Jodie to want to talk to the Maury and go, no, I need more. I need more. And the Maury are going, no, Doctor, you're gonna burn up, you're gonna die. And she's like, no, I need more. And she then gets transported to this weird room with somebody called Orsoc. Um, just credit is Orsoc. We don't hear her name in the story, but that's what she's credited as. I'm going to be honest, I think that's a placeholder name. I think we've got a theory as to who she is. And she essentially tells the Doctor that the flux is man-made, and it's because of you that it is happening, Doctor. So does this mean
who do you who do you think Allstock is?
that Tecteun would be my pick?
Okay. I was getting very strong White Guardian vibes.
I've never seen it, the Black Garden trilogy, so can't comment.
Or the key to time.
I've not seen the Key to Time either.
Yeah, the White Guardian doesn't. Yeah, the White Guardian doesn't show up in the Black Guardian trilogy,
Does
but
it not?
yeah, it's in the key to time.
I've seen
Yeah,
Stones of Blood.
if time is screwing around as much as they're saying it is, then the Guardians could well get involved.
There we go. It could be. I can't discredit a theory because I don't. I've only seen Stones of Blood, and that was brilliant. But I've still got around to the others. And then so after that, essentially that leaves a massive mind bending. Who could that be? And that's where we're left to it. And then we go back to another brilliant scene where, like John said earlier, Dan essentially confronts Swarm and Azure. He goes, "No, I'm going to get Diane back," and the Doctor and Vinda have to pull him apart away from it. And then we get this lovely scene where the Doctor does a massive speech, like, right, first of all, we're going to do this. Second of all, we're going to do this. Third of all, like, immediately just takes control of this as they run towards the TARDIS. She's taking control again. We're kind of getting our form as now what the next 3 episodes are going to be about, our way of getting around it, what's going to happen. We get a lovely scene where Vinda already knows what a TARDIS is, which is great. I'm happy we don't have to sit through another. Wow, what is this thing? Because it can get quite. We've already had one this series, so I didn't want a second one.
Well, I mean, except we didn't really have one series because he just went, I made a couple one bigger than this.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but you can't top that, can you? So if we had a proper one,
No, you can't.
it wouldn't have been as fun. And then essentially, before the very end, we learn about Belle and who she's actually been trying to find, and it's Vinda, and it's this is cute, this, isn't it?
It is very cute. It's very cute. They're a beautiful couple, and somebody I saw somebody on Twitter sort of say, "Are they the most beautiful couple ever to appear in Doctor Who?" I was like, "Still
Not
Joe and
yet.
Cliff for me. It's still Joe and Cliff for me."
I've not
But
seen the Green Death, so I can't comment. Not seen it.
yeah, but you know what Joe looks like.
I know what Joe looks like. I don't know what Cliff looks like.
Yeah, it's still. You've never seen the Green Death? God, that's one you need to watch.
I'm waiting now for our list of things. I guarantee I'll watch it once, and it'll pop up again. I need to give it another read.
Ah,
Um, that's part of why I
but
do the
yeah,
series, so it makes me watch classics I've not seen.
but yeah, it is a beautiful little moment.
Absolutely.
Of course, it uh, has led to some speculation.
Yes, this is what we're worried about.
I'm worried, Alex.
I'm also worried, John.
People are kind of speculating that this could mean that Vinda and Belle are the Doctor's parents, and that the baby that Belle is carrying is the Doctor. Um, I'm somebody that's fully on board with the Timeless Child arc. I've loved it. I think it's opened up all kinds of new possibilities. I think we're seeing that already. I do think that we still have a fundamental air of mystery in Doctor Who about who the Doctor is, about what their origins are.
Yeah.
I worry that if we reveal the Doctor's parentage, then we lose something fundamental.
Yeah. I'm with
I'm
you.
not sure we should ever answer the question, Doctor Who.
No, we shouldn't. And I do know that's why I really love Stephen Moffat, because he kept teasing us with, "I'm going to answer it,"
Yeah,
and then he went, "It doesn't matter." Um,
yeah.
and I'm,
I kind of hope Chibnall doesn't go there, and I'm
yeah.
quietly confident he won't, and they'll go another direction with it. But
I mean, the leading theories for me is it could be the Doctor, which I don't want. It could be Dan. I still think there's nothing going on with Dan. Because his scanner, Carvanista's scanner didn't work on him, and I still think it's going to lead to something. Dad is special in some way. I'm saying it now. I believe it. And I'm with you, John. This is where we agree. We've agreed on this from day one. We're both on the board with Thomas Child Up because, yes, it answered a question, but that question being answered opened up tons of
yeah,
more questions. So we're added
I mean,
mystery. Even though it answered something, it added more mystery.
I think the baby's going to prove to be. I think the baby's going to turn out to be Council Cal from Fear Her.
He just gets born on his first pothole, and that's it. That's where it
Yeah.
all began. But yeah, but that's it, guys. That is the Timeless Podcast leading theory. Now, every week, next week, me and John are back. We're going to have Council Kel watch. We're going to find out whether it will be Council Kel. But as
Yeah,
well, I was.
Council Cal is currently in repeats of classic Casualty on UK drama every day.
You can go find him looking after those potholes.
Yeah.
But let's get into one of the best cliffhangers in years. And I will say that we know where it's roughly going. I don't care. This cliffhanger made me go. I sat there like a little kid again, watching the last 30 seconds of this, and I loved it. So Yaz has sat down, and we get that shot from the trailer that we weren't meant to get a few weeks ago when they accidentally released the Chapter 3 trailer into the Chapter 2 trailer. And now all the clips we saw in that trailer make sense this week. I forgot that was a thing, by the way, but it happened, which is why they took it down. And we see that shot of Yaz going, "Doctor," and her eye opens, and there's an angel there, and the angel's in the TARDIS, and it just grows for the console. And the last line of the episode is the angels have the TARDIS. Ah, yes, come on, you can't.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I mean, I've seen theories that next week is going to be very much a standalone episode, and that it's one that actually they had scripted and pretty much written before the pandemic, before the whole Flux idea kicked in. So it'll be interesting to see how much of Flux goes through to next week. But I don't care. I can't wait. It's angels. Angels are always bloody scary.
Yeah.
It's a mid-60s aesthetic in a sort of rural setting, so it's something very new for the Angels. Yeah, I'm excited already.
Absolutely, and
I as you know, I shotgunned episode 4 because I'd heard the rumor that it was going to be Angels.
There we go.
And so
there we go.
yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely as well. And I'm going to say this well because I'm not annoyed because people are entitled to their own opinions, but I don't understand. There seems some people within our chat that we have that are people saying that the new angel faces look bad. I'm actually a fan of them. I think they're more expressive Like you could genuinely see the angel laughing when it was going and towards the top. And I like that. Of course, I don't like it when you see it moving like we did in the series 5 episode, but seeing the angel's face change like that was really good to me. I enjoyed looking at that and seeing its
Yeah,
triumph. I thought that made it
I mean,
work.
I'll be honest. I mean, I think a lot of the criticism comes from the subscriber DWM cover from last week. The
Was it
image
not look
of the
good?
angel on that doesn't. The image of the angel on that doesn't necessarily look good, but people had already seen the angels by that point. They'd already seen them in episode 1. We've seen how they work. Yeah, they look great. I don't have a problem with them at all.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think if you're judging if you're judging a TV show by a still on the front of a magazine, it's almost like it's almost like judging a book from one sentence.
In the words of Ron Weasley from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, you need to sort out your priorities. Um, I always love that line from the film. And I think it's facts for some Doctor Who people is that stop worrying about the little things. But what I will say is, John, going into chapter 4, Flux has been a massive success for me. And I mean, every week I get excited.
Yeah.
Obviously, I missed this live. I'm going to miss the next week's live as well because the Formula One Grand Prix is on. And I've always had the statement that a sport is only live once. So I always watch my sport first. That's why, I missed the first 5 minutes of the first episode as well because I was watching West Ham. And I'm always on a delay. But
I mean, I was going to say I know for a fact that West Ham game finished before that started.
Yeah, I'm always on a bit like a few minute delay, so I missed it just. But yeah, the Formula One's on, so I'll be watching that first, and then we'll get into Doctor Who. So don't worry, I mute our chat, and I don't look at Twitter. The first issue is right. I had to send Twitter notifications up because I saw some Doctor Who person tweet, and it was like people were talking about Doctor Who because it has your interest tweets. And I just saw the word Ruth, and I went, "So that means Ruth's going to be in this." So then when she came, I was like, "Well, I saw that coming." But apart from that,
I don't. While I'm watching it, I don't even touch my phone. I've really put myself into the habit this year of like I don't tweet, I don't touch my phone while I'm watching it. I just focus on the episode.
Yeah, I need to do the same. I'm just a fidgety bastard. John, I'm always a bit afraid of giving number scores to these because obviously it's part of a big story. But I'm giving it another 9. It's the third straight 9 across the board for me. I'm giving it another 9. I think it's just brilliant.
I think it's a 9.5 for me. I find it very hard to mark it down. And the only reason that I'm giving it 9.5 is because I think that there could be something on the horizon that's better.
Yeah.
It's very hard to mark this down. It's Chibnall does Moffat, and we get the best of both.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, guys. We are on a bit of a time stretch today, so I'm going to do a very quick outro. Also, to say thank you for John for coming on literally last minute. I popped something into our podcast chat at like 5 o'clock. It's now I've so we meant to record at 7. It's a bit late. But yeah, you can follow John on Twitter for amazing tweets at JohnBoy_Cook. You can follow the podcast at Times Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can click the link tree in the description as well to go to the YouTube, go to everywhere, follow us everywhere. We're close to 100 subs. We're 2 subs away as of recording. So if you get to 100 subs, I add a Mamuna meal deal. So there you go. But thank you guys so much for watching. Next week's episode will be back at the regular day, hopefully on the Monday evening once me and John have had time to watch it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, sorry this one was late. Take care, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Look after your Lupari.